So what I'm going to share with you now are some do's and don'ts. And these are some general do's and don'ts. Some of them are probably things I have inserted so that I can advise you learners on what to do. So don't forget, this is actually kind of like a synopsis of the actual course, but this is all still information from the course. This is all still information that I do give to my actual learners, even the ones that I am coaching right now, whether they're in lower form and they're doing summary, whether they're prepping for exam itself, same information, right? So first off, don't forget that CXE wants those 5 to 7 main ideas in your summary. All right, that's part of the instruction. So yes, you do write 5 main points, and that's only 5 points that you're assessed for in terms of the actual response. But in the summary, they need to see some extra ideas. That's essentially what it means. It's not weird. It's not weird. You should be putting extra ideas, but CXE is now adding a, how should you say it? They are now giving a number, all right, for you to get full marks. If you have less than 7, you don't get full marks, or you can't get full marks, all right? No copying from the text. Please do not just lift the entire sentence and put it from the text, the original text, put it in your main point, or then put it in your summary. It's not going to work, right? So don't copy. Why did I put that as a do? I'm not sure why I put that as a do. I guess I meant do write stuff in your own words, okay? Do write stuff in your own words. And then we have linking words or synonyms, right? You do want to use linking words as synonyms. Or if, for example, there was a student of mine, my student was doing, we were looking at June 2019, I think that's one with online learning. And I believe in the opening paragraph, no, not online learning, something about online and teachers. And they spoke about social media being used to self-expression, connection, and playing games. And I told her she could have used recreation for playing games. That's a very smart synonym, right? Because playing games is recreation. It's recreational, right? The majority of people who play games online are doing it recreationally, not even professionally, right? So that's a smart way to use synonyms. Linking words also work because sometimes you can actually link your main points together. You connect them, and that's why I mentioned the linking words, right? That's what we're doing. The more you practice it, the easier it gets, right? You want to match the original text. Let me see if I can explain this one, because this is really easy. I only say it's easy because CXE does not bring like literature type text, and they don't tend to bring text with too much emotional tone, so you don't have to worry about it. But you want to make sure that it sounds as professional as the text normally does. Most of the texts tend to be a bit more formal. They are very rarely conversational. They tend to be sometimes they waver between persuasive, argumentative / informative, but I would say they're more on the argumentative, informative side. So there are certain type of language that works with it. A lot more technical than denotative language, not technical. Technical depends on the text. If you have questions about that, ask below. All right. So these are some of my do's. Here are some of my don'ts. Do not put every single thing you see in it. It's a summary. Why are you laying out every single step that they have described? Do not lay out every single step that has been described. You do not need all the examples. You do not need all the illustrations, not actual illustrations, not actual pictures. That's not illustration, it means explanation here. You don't need to put all the step-by-step details. You want to summarize that. Even if you think you need to mention it, you need to summarize that, right? If they laid out as a side note the step-by-step process of precipitation. I threw something out there, and it's not really a main relevant part of the summary. You could just mention the cycle of precipitation. I'm so sorry, that's out. That's just a random example. It's a random example. I go deeper into this in the course because I would use the actual articles, right? Do not put your opinion or personal stories. Listen, I'll give you a spoiler. This is something that I normally categorize in terms of ono. And when I see this, the response tends to go off topic, right? So when you're doing a summary, you are doing, as I said, a mini version of the text of whatever the writer's perspective or purpose is. We're matching that. We're not matching it because we think it's correct. We're matching it because we're just reporting or the information. We're just capturing the information and presenting it in less words. Your opinion is not part of this here. Your opinion is necessary for argumentative. That's where you can put your opinion and put it on display. This is not an argumentative piece. If you keep injecting your opinion or you keep injecting a personal anecdote, you're not writing a summary. You're trying to write an argumentative and you won't get the marks. Repetition. Don't repeat data. You have a word count. Do not repeat information that has already been said. So sometimes for exams, while I'm marking students that I'm prepping, marking my learners, I may see that they have a main point and they repeat the main point, like it's repeated in the summary. You don't want to do that. It's giving you less details to talk about and eating up your word count. So it's not beneficial. Quote some original text. Do not copy directly from the original text. You have to say it in your own words, but if you just lift it from the text, it's not going to prove that you understood what was stated in the original text. It's not going to prove anything at all, yeah? So we don't want to do that. So what I'm going to cover here for you would be the aims of summary writing. What are the aims of summary writing? So summary writing tests your ability to understand the article, all right? To understand the article. Ooh, pardon. It was noisy, yeah? I'm so sorry. Right? So it tests your ability to understand the article. And then it tests your ability to identify the main points. This is what CSEC is aiming to test, okay? This is what CSEC is trying to test. Then it's testing your ability to write those 5 main points as 5 simple sentences in your own words. I prefer that you start using your own words from the main points. Don't just revomit the text. Don't revomit the text. You are defeating the purpose of it. Make the effort. You probably have already instinctively know what are the main points. Just practice putting it out into your own words and you're going to get better at it. Then you write your summary based on the 5 main points. These are the aims of summary writing. Okay? So what are main points? I think a lot of people can't even get to understanding summary because they're confused by what main points are. You can thumbs up. You can like this video if that alone made sense. You can't even get to summary because you're totally confused about main points, right? And that's why in the course I actually do good versions. I do 3 good versions of main points and summaries and then 2 bad versions of main points and summaries, because writing main points is one thing and writing summaries is another thing. But you need the main points to get to the summary. Part of main points is identifying what the main points are and then writing it. So basically, when I look at good main points, this is proof that this person read the article, this learner read the article and knew what's happening there, right? Each main point that I read is going to demonstrate an important point that's related to the overall purpose or perspective of the article. This is what the writer has been trying to say. So I read it and I get it, and it's a full and complete point. Full and complete. That's what it says in the syllabus, by the way. So all 5 main points are with 5 content marks. And when I say all 5 main points, this is not marked as the first point is correct, tick. It's not marked like that at all. You get overall 5 marks for this section. This is a breakdown. This is actually taken directly from the syllabus in terms of what they look for content. And I actually do have a video where I dive deep. Well, do I dive deep? I review the rubric for summary, as well as the other 3 questions in paper 2 directly from the syllabus. So you can take a look at those videos. It's up on this channel, right? So what is the summary? The summary is the shortened version of the article. So we've already covered that, right? So your summary must always present the perspective of the author, whatever the author is trying to express or convey. That's what is supposed to be in a summary. Summary here should not have your opinion at all. So if we are looking at an article talking about Netflix versus Disney Plus and cost and rising costs of these subscription channels, we do not need to know which one is your favorite. Right. It's not necessary. Don't put your personal opinion. And you'll be like, yo, I don't do that. I've seen it. When things are bad, and you're looking for points, and you're looking for stuff to write, and you're totally confused, somehow that opinion gets in there. And teachers like me, we take away the marks. I know it's horrible, right? But I like working with students, with learners directly, because I help them figure out how to add marks. And that's why this freemium course is here. For those of you who are unable to access the premium at this time or just need a little bit of information, this freemium version can help you to achieve your aim still for the exam, yeah? So your summary should not include any additional information or proof which is not found in the article. It's kind of supporting that one with your personal opinion, but you should not have additional information. My favorite example for this is flat earthers theory. So there are people who believe in that the earth is flat, right? Let's say you're reading an article that's supporting flat earther theory. You don't need to give me evidence from something else. You don't need to give me the fact that people have landed on the moon, they've sent satellites out in space. If it's not in the article, don't add the information. All right, that's just an example. So additionally, your summary should not have any irrelevant details that do not support the main purpose of the article. Now, this is there for 2 practical reasons. One, you have limited words, so you can't add minor stuff, irrelevant stuff. Secondly, you're trying to get at the core of the information, the core of the data. So you're going to always pick the most important, weighty, relevant information, and that's what is going to flow into your summary. Yeah. Your summary should be based on those 5 main points with additional points for details. So those additional points you put would be, let's say, the next most relevant points. And again, you're putting that because CXC is saying that in order to qualify for full marks based on the instructions, in order to qualify for full marks, you need to have minimum 7 points. That's what CXC said, okay? So your summary is worth 10 organization marks and 10 language marks. Again, if you want to see a breakdown of that, I actually have done a really decent breakdown in another video. It's on the channel, and it's just looking at summary, and you can check that breakdown, that rubric breakdown, that rubric walkthrough, you could say. Again, all this information is from the syllabus. You can look at that on this channel, okay, on CSBS Learning. So what is the recommended process for the exam? And this is directly from me. Read the instructions, read them twice. Listen, CXE has information hidden everywhere. Read the instructions. That change I told you about with the 7 main points, I don't even know if people realize that exists, but it's in the instructions, right? It's in the instructions. It's not even in the syllabus in terms of that change, but it's in the instructions on the exam paper. So please pay attention to it. The article and reference information, please do read it. So when I say article and reference information, if you see a topic, all right, although sometimes you've been a little tricky with the title, sorry, not the topic, the title of the article. They've been a little tricky once or twice, but look at the title, look at the reference information. Is it from a particular journal that has a particular field of interest? Is it just a magazine? What is it for? And that helps you kind of place where the article should fall. Is it very serious? Is it a technical work? Is it a scientific research paper? It helps you understand the article even better. Read the article more than once. Please do not just read the article once. I know sometimes some of them are boring. I know some of the topics are might not be interesting to you. I know some of the perspective might feel alien or weird or uninteresting, but you want to be able to read anything. And you can't read anything because you can't read. You can't read, okay? So reading the articles to be certain of the topic and then to determine the purpose, which is the 4th point. You need to know why is this person saying this. So then you can pick all the points to help showcase the writer's purpose, right? That's what you're doing. Then you're going to identify your top 7 points, all right? I say take your top 5 of those points, turn them into your main points, and you're going to write them in your own words, okay? In your own words, very good. Those main points must be simple, accurate, and complete sentences, right? Do not add extra stuff. Do not try to explain anything. Just give me the information, the basic information, the direct, accurate, and complete information. And you have to be careful here. If you add a word sometimes or take away a word, you've changed the meaning of the sentence. So you really want to get your main points down. I have seen that for most cases, when you get the main points down and you understand them, it's much easier to write the summary. So I always say I think the main points are the major stumbling block for many students, for many learners when it comes to this exam, right? And then you write your 120-word summary like a boss, and you write your summary based on the 5 main points plus the minimum 2 additional points. Now I kept saying 7. I think CXE in the instruction says you should have a minimum of 7 to get the points, whatever. But even when I worked on these examples, and listen, I 4 articles that I wrote. These are articles that I wrote, and I did main summary for each of them and main points for each of them. So I would have done like 3 versions of main points, 3 versions of summaries on each. 7 seems to be like the max for that 120 words. 7 seems like the max. So if you can't aim for the 7, if you can't aim for the 7, please make sure you have the 5 inside. Okay? So we're nearly at the end. And I'm going to kind of explain something that I came up with to try to help students, learners out there really kind of place their own work and assess it. All right, and this applies to points and kind of applies to summaries as well. So what's a good, what does good mean? All right, and again, this is my interpretation, my explanation. Good points are ones that give accurate information, which are complete and to the point without any additional or unnecessary details. So I was speaking about adding too much or taking away too much, and you could have the wrong impression. A good point, and to nearly the same degree, a good summary is fully complete. It doesn't have too much or too little. It's perfect. It's just right. It's like Baby Bear from the story of Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. It's just right. Just right. So that's what good points do. And by extension, a good summary. Then we have not good points. Yeah, we have not good points. They're not good. Pretty short. Stuff is missing from them. So if good points are that right balance, not good points based on how I categorize them are the ones that have half of the information or partial information. So when you start writing main points that have partial information, you're definitely going to write an incomplete summary. So those persons who write super short points all the time and your summary is probably consistently under 100 consistently, probably not good. Okay, and maybe what you need to do is really focus on pulling more information to make your points more complete. Part of the solution, right? And then we have points, which these are my pet peeve. It hurts me when I see these. Forgive me. I'm not upset if you do them in terms of, oh my gosh, you suck. That's not what it is. Writing is a skill, and once my learners practice, they get over it. I actually have a learner this week who, we're doing summary now, and we were doing before like short story and argumentative, and she just thought she sucked at it. But then we did some focused work, and she's like, I'm better. So writing is a skill. It just needs you need practice, and sometimes you need guided instruction, right? But no points, boy. Wow. So I've gotten some of these where we go so off topic. I'm wondering what happened. Do you need counseling? What happened in your life? What traumatized you, right? I have a very distinct recollection of a student. We were looking at one. Actually, it's one of the ones I have in the course. I call it Pandemic Paradise. That's the name of the article. And no, not Pandemic Paradise. Is it Pandemic Paradise? It's about the pandemic, and it's about people. I'm not telling you what it's about because I don't want anybody. I'm not telling you what it's about, but it's about the pandemic and people and connection, right? It does not have to do with how people suffer during the pandemic. It does not, for the main part, talk about suffering. And she included her suffering in the pandemic. She included a lot of her suffering. So what happens? You get rambling sentences, too much explanation. It's a bit confusing. It's sometimes some even sound correct. But then when you look at the language and how it's written and how the sentences are structured, you realize, oh no, this is not from the article. Personal opinions are rampant in them, and that's not necessary in a summary. You're not going to get a summary with the person doing the summary, that person's personal opinions. You have to write your own article then, or you have to write argumentative. That's what you have to write. Okay, so this was the freemium version of summary. All right. Again, this is exactly what I teach in my classes. Right? What is different if you were to access the premium version is that I give a lot more details, and I do definitely dive into the articles and the versions. There are 5 versions of summaries per article. So that's like 20 summary examples, and 2 examples per article are just bad ones. And you're like, oh, why do I need to know the bad examples? So you don't repeat those errors, okay? I don't want you to repeat those errors. Please don't repeat those errors, okay? So if you have more questions or concerns or even challenges or anything you wanted to say, simply note your comment down below. If you're interested in accessing the course, you can contact me, Ms Chanelle, by looking for CSB Success on Instagram or Facebook, and you'll find my page, my profile, and I will be able to give you access. I do have this really well priced, and as it's an introductory course, and mainly because I know summaries are the worst thing ever for many students. I am more than likely keeping this at a really, really affordable rate. It's about 50 US max for this entire course, and you're going to get about 20 videos, like I said, 20 samples. It's a lot more than just what I did. It's definitely a lot more. So whatever option works to benefit you, I do hope you comment below how it was beneficial and what else you think you would need to be more successful for exams. You take care. Bye.